What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some more Watcher of Realms, and today, we're kind of getting stuck, alright? We can't really make progress the way we have been recently, where we could just jump on, push promotion raid, push gear raid, material raid, stuff like that, and just constantly making progress every single day. The difficulty spike is starting to get to the point where we're slowing down. We got to make progress a little bit slower, and generally that progress is going to come in the form of gear for us. Of course, we still need to 6-star a lot of our team. That's not even up for debate if it's got to happen. We would, ideally, I want to get a couple of healers to 6-star. That's going to help us push Gear Raid 2. I'd like to get at least one of my tanks to 6-star. That's also going to help in Gear Raid 2, and pretty much everywhere you need a tank. But my fighters are also weak. We haven't even cleared Promotion Extreme 2 because our fighters aren't quite strong enough right now. And so getting Estrid to 6-star, and even Ain probably, will definitely help the team overall, still continue to kind of creep forward in the progression. But the big issue I'm having right now is my gear sucks. It's not bad. Like, Deimos has probably my best set of gear, pretty close to my best set of gear on. As you can see, it's mostly mythic. It's a hodgepodge. I mean, we've got a Guardian piece here. We've got Fatality. We've got Mana Spring. It's all a mishmash of crap, but it rolled fairly well, and that's why he's using it, and that's how I kind of pick my gear early on in the game. He does have a set bonus for the weapon and the armor. I'm not going to worry too much about farming the weapon and armor right now. They're fairly easy to get decent rolls on, so you can get progress out of them relatively quickly, but it's going to be a small boost. Like, for example, if you look at this Calamity Breastplate, it's rolled, I mean, pretty perfect, honestly, in my opinion, for a legendary piece of gear. It's got crit, and attack bonus. That's super great. Even if we got a legendary version or a mythic version of this piece of gear, we're looking at a little bit of flat stat increase, about 1600 health, which isn't bad. But we're only really add one substat here. You know, we might add a flat attack, 400 more attack. I mean, that's not bad, but it's not a massive increase. Like when you look over at someone like, say, Wrath, who's still running legendary gear. If we pick up, I don't really need the, I guess even the crit rate would be kind of nice for him. But the main stat's going to go up 26% for a legendary piece of gear here. And that's going to be a huge jump, especially when you factor in that there's 3 slots of gear here. That's nearly 80% increase. Like if you're running all attack bonuses on your 3 accessories here, that's going to nearly almost double your attack bonus that you're getting just by getting main stat attack bonus on red piece of gear. So our accessories are probably where we're going to focus. So today I figured what we would do, we'd do things a little bit differently. Instead of just running through and doing like the campaign and then trying to find somewhere to make progress, we'll do the campaign like normal. I want to take a hard mode up to, say, stage 5 here, unlock this higher level gold reward, because we will need gold going forward to upgrade the gear. But then afterwards, I'm thinking about running 100 Gear Raid 3s. Just all of them. I'm not going to show you, obviously, the process of farming all of them, because that would be boring as balls. But I'm going to set those to auto fight, and then we'll come back at the end, and we'll check out all 100 pieces of gear, focusing probably mostly on the ones that get thumbs up, and then I'll probably do a quick scan of the little ones and sell out straight up garbage kind of on my own. But maybe this weekend we'll get to maybe a bit of a gear guide, but that's going to be the plan for today. Knock out some campaign, and then knock out a bunch of Gear Raid 1. To do that, though, before we jump in the campaign, make sure I can do that, we actually need to dismiss a hero. But not just any hero, a 4-star hero. And that's going to be either this guy, because he's total garbage, I'd probably never use him, or this chick. I've got 3 of her, so I'm going to go ahead and just put her in here. I never really use her. She's a piercer hero, but I've got plenty of piercer heroes that are marksmen who are better than her in my opinion. So I'm going to drop her off, just go ahead and dismiss her and grab some of these awakening materials. Yep. Boop. And the reason I'm doing that is because in the shop over here, bing, we have 50 auto fight chances for 50 of the awakening materials. I'm going to buy one of those out because I only have, I think, 79 auto fights right now. And that's going to be another big thing that gets annoying is running out of auto fights. So we might have to dismiss a few heroes along the way to grab those auto fight chances out, just so we can run bulk runs. But that's done. We're ready. I think I've got 100 and something now to run for the raid. Let's jump in, knock out the campaign real fast, or relatively fast. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm not going to swap things up. I think we're pretty much set to run on this. We're very overpowered for it. But yeah, the main idea today, I want to see what I can get in 100 raids of Gear Raid 3. I am going to do Gear Raid 3 because it is my strongest, my highest rated, I guess, highest staged accessory one. How do we want to run this? We've got 3 bros here. I'm not sure how long they wait. Balls is doing the clicky weirdness. I don't like clicky weirdness. Oh my gosh, Gabe. We can probably just start... Holy crap. That might have been a mistake. I had plenty of time to think about it, so if I screwed it up, it is 100% on me. Boop. Put you right there. I guess, oops. Should have put him in the same tile. It's fine. It's no big deal. I think this is the one where they start sending people a little bit faster. Like the ones that like start sprinting, so they might run past. If they do run past, I'm going to throw Olag here in the background. But I'm going to just kind of like... Oh my lord, game! Gotta click my mouse harder than I've ever clicked anything in my life. Maybe time to just upgrade the mouse. You know what I'm saying? Time to just go ahead and change it out. Put a new one on, because this one's starting to be janky. At least it's janky in this mode. I think we'll run Navras down here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw Maul kind of right here, aimed this way. If someone does start sneaking past, he should be able to clear things up for me. Like that. I don't think they'll get past these guys. I doubt I'm going to need a healer here, but just, you know, just in case. They do start moving a little bit quicker, as you can see here, but it's not really making a difference. Man, Navras is just decimating people right now. But yeah, should be a pretty good day. Hopefully we get some good gear that we can make some progress with, because right now, like, yeah, having not 6-starred everyone in our team, there's easy progress on the board to make there. But gear is just so important. It's something we got to start focusing on if we're going to start pushing higher up and unlock that stage 18 for all the gear raids, which is my ultimate goal sooner rather than later, but it's still going to be pretty tough to do. That's not an easy challenge at all. Let's go ahead and push this next one real quick. Boop, and boop. Shouldn't be too much different than last time. Throw a blocker unit out, get some AoE damage on these center tiles, and we should be okay. Gonna come through up top first. They're going to stop and wait on me a little bit, but not long. Long enough that I can get a dude down probably right here. And then my AoE units in the middle should be able to help out if I need it. Hiccup, shouldn't need it. Go ahead and get Deimos down. Same idea. Chop them up as they're coming through, and then we'll get maybe Greed and Maul right here to just splash everybody down. And it should be fine. Is this a new guy or something? I don't think so. We saw those guys before. Let's go ahead and get Maul in. I like Maul. He's good. Oh, 50,000 damage. Get him, Wrath. Get him! I could put Navras here in the middle as well. He's kind of single and splash, and I probably will do exactly that. And then I'll throw Greed back here on this back spot. And we should be... That should be just it. We don't probably need a healer or anything. I wouldn't think. I doubt... Nope. I highly doubt someone sneaks past this atrocious level of damage that they're about to receive. Well, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen for them. So we're gonna run this back. Fun story, by the way. So if you guys watched the video a couple days ago, you'll know that I'm currently dealing with a very fun and enjoyable poison ivy issue slash poison sumac slash poison oak. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of itchy poison that is decimating my life. So me and my infinite wisdom, I forgot that I was wearing a hoodie out there when I was tearing all that stuff down. And if you're aware of how poison ivy kind of spreads, it's spread by an oil that comes out of the plant itself, so it gets on stuff, and that's how it like busts out your skin and makes it all itchy. Well, some of that juice must have been on that hoodie, because I decided in my smart brain I would wear that hoodie again because it was kind of chilly. And I did. I put it on, and I am much itchier now than I was the other day. So it has been an absolute fantastic experience for me, having the itchiness literally all over my body. Yeah, it's really sucked. So that's been my life for the last couple of days now. I got my eyeball all swelled up because apparently I scratched my eyeball after touching that oil. My poor nuts. Oh, my poor balls. They feel great. They are just having a fantastic time. But yeah, that's been my life for the last couple of days. Been terrible this morning. I guess I must have done it yesterday when I wore that hoodie, but yeah. These guys might end up pulling a Wakiki sneaky, so I'm going to throw Olag back here as a little safety net, and then I'll just start throwing some AoE damage in. I mean, he actually took care of them quite well. We do have some slow walkers that come back here, and I believe there's, archers that come back here as well, so I don't want to set too many people on this, because I will need to run healers that way. I am going to put probably greed down there. I can put greed here. And I do kind of want to do that, because that's going to give me an AoE attack right here behind Deimos. But it'll also cover this middle tile right here. Then I'm going to throw probably him right here. And then probably still have to throw a healer down just because. We're going to throw Hollow because she has a good attack range and she can reach everybody. Medan would also work for these. I doubt Greed's going to get shot by anybody, but I guess you never really know. He is kind of sniping. They target platform tiles? I don't really know. I think they do, but I could be wrong. That's not who I'm looking for. You're who I'm looking for. Doesn't really say. Yeah, attacks the last deployed hero in range. Oh, I didn't realize that ranged units always did that. That's fun to know. So they will always target the last deployed hero. So if you put down a tank, I guess they'll start shooting that guy if they can shoot him. And that's not bad. So far, these guys are kind of getting smoked on. I could easily throw a Navros right here. It won't cover this tile, and there's a lot of people coming that way. So we may be smarter to do Navros like this. That's actually a really smart square, I guess. And we're covered by the healer, so that's fine. I don't think anyone's going to sneak through. We have quite a bit of damage going in. Last guy coming up right here. Just go ahead and pop Navros's ult and snipe that dude out. Not bad, not bad. So that was what, stage 2, stage 3? I don't know. Not sure how long it's going to take to run these 100 auto fights. I mean, even at 3x speed, it's still probably going to take me like an hour or so. So this is going to be a long break in between finishing this part of the video up and the 100 freaking Gear Raid 3s. But it will be cool to see what we can get. Hopefully we'll get something good. We can only deploy 8 heroes here anyway. I might as well throw in aim for a boost. Not that I really need it. We're probably alright. Or do I bring a tank? Do I bring a tank is the real question here. We have a tank. We're fine. Living will be great. You're not the person I clicked. Where'd the person I clicked go? There you go. Alright, so we shouldn't need Idril. She's single target damage. This is primarily going to be AoE work, so we should be alright. I'm not sure if we're going to try to stack the front on this one, or if we're going to play it a little bit safer and stack the back, which might be the ideal situation here. I think we're actually going to even throw this guy out first. He shouldn't kill anyone on his own. He's kind of weak. But it'll give us a little bit of time to kind of get our AoE units out, and hopefully not have anybody sneak past. So I can throw probably, we might have made a mistake already. Just kidding, we're fine. Put you down. That'll stop these guys from kind of getting through. And then I can throw like Wrath and Deimos on the sides. I know they're not AoE damage, but they do block units that are trying to walk around. Plus they're strong, so they should deal with these heavier, I guess you would say, the bigger goblins. Take care of those pretty well. And even though they're not necessarily blocking the straight line, the goblins do veer off in side paths, so their block still is useful. They're still going to be taking some units away from this middle line here. So now we're probably going to throw Maul in, just because he's a monster and his AoE is great and his ultimate is disgusting. We should blitz right through it. We got one more spot available. I wonder if I just throw like a... Oh, this is the last wave. I guess we'll just throw Navros right here, get some things rolling. Pop Estrid's ult, she can just kind of cleave the crap out of dudes, and we clean that up quite nicely. Not the fastest run in the world, but it was pretty good. So there we go. That's what? Almost $20,000 a run. If we throw a gold boost on, that'd be, what, 40k per go? Every 10 runs would take care of maybe one piece of mythic gear to 16. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. That's something we do have to worry about, too, though, is how we're going to upgrade all that gear, because we're down to, what, like 4 million gold? We did get lucky and had a little, I guess, a mishap with the event or something, so the devs sent us, like, 2,000 free little candies, which bought me like 2 million gold, so that was really nice. I was like, sweet, I needed gold. But here we go, take care of this one. Shouldn't be too bad, only got one crystal to defend. I think this is where they start bringing these summoners in, but yeah, we can easily snipe that out with an E-drill pretty early. We start at 1? Really? That's how you're gonna do me, so I can't even snipe this nerd out right off rip? That's annoying. Do we just try to be stupid anyway? Probably a bad idea, but we might just do it because it seems to be kind of working. Boop, ha, nerd. Okay, so that's taken care of. Now I just got to worry about them coming in from down here. I don't think this person will get a chance to kind of come out again, but we're just going to run it like this. And then we'll run Deimos right here. This way, if they do have someone sneak past, He'll still block them, but this will give us 2 people to attack this tile right here, and we should be fine. Who do we want to run like another single target damage unit up here? I mean, we'll just put Navras here to kind of double up on that summoner. Make sure she doesn't get a chance to let anyone come out. And then we'll pop Maul down over here maybe. Maybe Greed. Go with Maul because he's a huge attack range. And he'll get these kind of sprinting towards us and speed things up a little bit. I need to bring a healer because he will shoot Maul. Boop, boop. Madan's good. She has AoE heals. Don't really need AoE healing at this point. They're actually pretty tanky for being archers. They're doing some work. We'll get this guy right here, and we should be fine. Everyone's got heals. These guys will take care of the summoners. Only 14 enemies in this wave. Not going to be too bad. Boop, boop. I guess I can go ahead and I was gonna pop. I guess I'm gonna pop your ult because you're the last dude, and you're dead. Get sharked right in the brain. Nice. All right, so hard mode, 5 stages completed. Got that out of the way. Progress made. Progress absolutely made. But now the real test. Let's see just how poor. Ooh, let's grab out this energy. That'll be helpful because I do have some energy potions on standby. We need 2,000 energy for 100 runs, and that is why I buy huge stamina potions every single chance I get. Let's go ahead and just blitz through all these little ones as well, just so I don't have them chilling in my inventory. I almost never use the small ones. We need another 800 energy, so that'll be 4 of these. Boop, boop, and boop. There we go. 2,000 energies. We are absolutely ready now. I guess I could have used my hearts as well, but whatever. Let's go ahead, jump in here. Gear Raid. We're not going to do Gear Raid 2. I've only got the 3-piece set bonuses unlocked over here, and while the AoE and the Guardian set, and I guess even the Fatality set are pretty good sets, it's only stage 12, which means we're more likely to get legendary gear and not mythic gear, which is not great. But also we only have 3 sets unlocked, whereas in Gear Raid 3, we have every set that you can roll unlocked. Some healer-based sets, some crit rate sets, lots of good stuff to like over here. Fracture, a fantastic set. But also because we are 2 stages higher, we have a higher mythic drop rate here. So we're going to go ahead and run this, not max, just kidding, absolutely click the max button because that's the easy way to do it. And we are going to run this sucker 100 times. I will see you guys in probably the next hour, and we'll go over what we've snagged out. So, see you in about an hour. And we're back. It's been roughly 2-ish hours since we started these suckers. They've all finished up. All 100 are done. It looks like our split came out roughly 50-50 legendaries to mythics, which kind of makes sense. We're at stage 14. You unlock mythics at stage 10, and you unlock all mythics at stage 18. So kind of makes sense we be at a 50-50 split right here. As you can see, not a ton of thumbs up gears here. Only 7 that the game recommended to me, and that's even with some of my own settings changed in there. So I do have my own little custom rules going on right now. So even with that, I still only got 7 going on. And as you can see, I did lock some gear down here in what the game would not recommend as gear to keep. And this is why I recommend that everyone go through their gear. Even if it's not got a thumbs up, don't just mass sell everything, because you might sell a piece of gear that, especially early game, would definitely be good for you and way better than what you're currently using. So we're going to go through a couple of pieces of gear that I'm throwing away first, because I have gone through the whole set already by myself. Just make sure I'm not taking 45 minutes to look at every single piece of gear. We're going to look at a couple that I'm throwing away, why I'm throwing a piece of gear like that away, and then we'll sell all that stuff off, and we'll come back and look at the pieces of gear. Or I don't know if you sell it, if it makes it all go away. I don't think it does. I think it still sits there, and you can still look at it. So we'll probably sell all that stuff off, then come back and look at these and stuff like that. So first up, piece of gear we're not keeping. Anything I see that rolls with a flat stat, and especially like in accessories, because obviously your weapon and armor always roll flat stats, so it doesn't really matter what their main stat is. It's always locked. But anytime I roll an accessory, the flat main stat like HP, attack, or defense, stuff like that, those are gone, especially defense. Flat defense as a main stat is the worst main stat in the game. Pretty much, I don't think anyone actually benefits from that. So anytime you see flat stats, them suckers are gone. There are very, 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 very niche cases where flat attack would be a decent main stat. These are going to be like heroes like Mari, because she has a very, very low attack stat. Like her end game, like once she's 6-starred, and everything is like 1700 base attack. So having a flat stat of attack up to 1000 is pretty much no different than running a 60% attack bonus piece of gear on her. So you can do that for very niche cases. Since I'm not worried about those super niche cases right now, I'm just selling them off. I don't want them. It'd have to roll like literally all the best substats in the world for me to even think about keeping it. So anytime you see that, they go away. Things like defense bonus is a main stat. There's use cases for defense bonus main stat gear. Tanks can use it. Defense-based damage dealers can use it. But like in a case like this, attack bonus is pretty bad. For a defense-based damage dealer, you don't really need it because it doesn't do anything. Healing effect also going to be pretty useless there. So that's a overall pretty bad piece of gear, especially for it being in the fracture set bonus for boosting crit damage. Just all around pretty bad. Some of them look fairly decent. Like this piece of gear right here has an attack bonus main stat. That's not bad. Attack is a substat, and crit rate is a substat. For early on, you might think, hey, that's pretty good because it comes on a fracture piece of gear, which gives you 45% crit damage. Why wouldn't you keep a piece of gear like that? The main reason this piece of gear is going is because crit rate is in the 16 slot. If this crit rate was here or here, I would keep this gear just to check it. Because you never know. I mean, if this rolled like 25% crit rate, it might be a fairly decent early game piece of gear. Because it's in the last slot, it's going to cost you around 500,000 gold to unlock this. It's very, very expensive to unlock the plus 16 slot, and you're taking a huge gamble on this being only a 2 substat piece of gear that's actually good, and one of those is the 16 slot. It's just way too big of a risk, way too much gold being invested in this. Could this roll really high? Yes. Am I willing to sacrifice 500,000 gold just to hope it does? No. There's plenty of other gear, even some that I've locked. That's a defense piece gear. See, crit rate here is in the second slot. All the other substats aren't even that great, but because crit rate can roll here, if I pull a 20+% crit rate on an attack bonus piece of gear, I'm pretty happy with that. So that is the main reason a piece of gear like this is getting the dumpster. There's another one here, healing effect. You look at it and you say, well, that'd be pretty decent for an attack-based healer. You know, it's got healing effect main stat, attack bonus. Why wouldn't you keep that? And that's mainly because defense is rolled where it is. If the flat HP was actually rolled up here where defense is, I might keep this piece of gear, because flat HP on an attack-based healer is pretty strong. Defense is pretty garbo. You just don't need it. If this had been rage regen, attack speed, this would absolutely be getting kept, because that'd be a really solid piece of gear for an attack-based healer. Because this is defense here, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, even if these both roll pretty well, it's just still not that great of a piece of gear, especially since it's in an offset. If this had been like the Asclepius, I guess, Asclepius, I don't know how you say that word. If it had been in this set bonus, I probably would have kept it, because hey, even if it's not great, the set bonus is good. So that's kind of some of the gear I'm not keeping, why I'm not keeping it. We'll go ahead and sell off all that non-recommended gear. This won't sell, obviously, the lock things. About 400,000 gold. I will take that. Boop. And now we can look at some of the gear I am keeping, primarily gear that's not recommended that I'll be keeping. We'll look at some of these, obviously, that I will be keeping that are recommended because they're good. This piece of gear here, fantastic piece of gear. Crit rate is the main stat. That's going to be 60% crit rate. That's good. Attack speed, attack bonus, attack substats, all very good for an attack-based damage dealer. Nonetheless, this is on a crit damage set, so you have huge crit rate and a crit damage boost when you get all 3 pieces. That's huge. HP bonus. Things like marksmen and mages, while there still are damage dealers, don't benefit as much from HP bonus in most settings, but a fighter, being they're going to be a ground unit and will likely be getting, blocking enemies, HP bonus is actually pretty good. So this is a piece of gear that I'm super happy to see rolled. It could roll terribly and roll like 20 attack speed or something horrible, but you don't know that until you roll it. Plus, you can always use gear recasting hammers later. I don't know if I'm going to use them on regular mythic gear. Maybe for, ancients are always going to roll well. So I don't know. We'll see what we do with that. But some of the other gear like this right here, it's attack bonus main stat, crit rate, and attack speed. That's fantastic. Flat HP, again, not terrible. Pretty decent in some situations, like for mages that don't have as high of a base HP. Flat HP is generally going to be a stronger substat than HP bonus for them. Defense is kind of a throwaway, but the fact that crit rate and attack speed are both up here in this top, and it's in a crit damage base set, this is a really good piece of gear. I don't have any that aren't like that. Attack speed main stat, great. Crit rate, attack bonus, super happy to see it. For a healer, defense bonus, and this is kind of interesting, you could use this in 2 ways. You could use this on a defense-based healer, which would be like, I think Mariel's probably the only one. But that would boost her max HP and healing effect, so it's part of a healing set. Does have healing effect on it. You could use it on an HP-based healer. I wouldn't, because I don't think it's great for it. I'm actually keeping this primarily for tanks, which is kind of weird, but even on a tank, defense bonus main stat, defense substat, HP bonus substat, those are all things you want on a tanky unit. Plus, the set bonus still gives 10% bonus HP, which for a tank isn't bad. The healing effect, not great, but some tanks do have heals. For example, Livian, she does heal herself with her shield bounce. This would moderately affect that, probably not by a lot or a meaningful manner, but it's not completely useless. So even though this isn't going to be put on a healer per se, it's still a pretty solid piece for a tank, and that's why I'm keeping it. Some of these legendary pieces of gear I kept, this has got double crit on it. Yeah, there's no attack bonus, which kind of sucks, but I'm still early enough in the game that just getting double crit and attack speed for someone might be what they're missing. So could be something I want to run on someone, maybe not. Missing attack bonus is kind of a big deal, but double crit's kind of hard to say no to for me. It's just in my brain that I love it. Same here, we got attack bonus and double crit, flat HP. A great piece of gear for a platform unit, because flat HP could roll pretty high, make them a little tankier, but you got the double crit, super good. And then over here, again, crit, attack bonus, really solid piece of legendary gear. So let's get into some of the gear that I saved that wasn't recommended, right? Because that's going to be kind of where you want to see, like, what were you thinking? Why was this saved versus letting it go? So we already looked. No, we didn't look at this piece of gear. This is an interesting one. On its face, it doesn't seem that great. It's an HP bonus main stat with no flat HP substat. It has rage regen, defense bonus, attack. Seems kind of garbage. I'm keeping this for one niche unit only, and that's for Baron. Baron is a tank, so HP bonus and defense bonus are nice for a tank, but he's a tank that actually has a couple of different attacks that hit multiple units. When his ultimate shield breaks, he does damage, AoE damage to everyone. So attack bonus and attack, not bad. Rage regen gets that ultimate back a little faster. So this is a very, very, very niche piece of gear. That's why I'm keeping it. And I looked at it and I thought, Baron could use this. I'm going to keep it for him. Probably wouldn't use it on anybody else. And if some of these substats roll like really bad, like a defense bonus is like, 10% or something, I'll probably just sell this piece of gear. But this is a potential, and that's why I lock gear, even if it's not like a great piece of gear. If it has potential to roll something really well that I could use, I'll keep it and see. Because rolling for 4, 8, and 12 is pretty cheap, especially 4 and 8. 12 can get up to like 50, 60,000 gold to roll it. So it's not as cheap, still not bad. But yeah, I'll check them just to see, and maybe you'll get lucky and get some really good rolls, and you just keep it because it's really nicely rolled gear. But that's kind of why I'm keeping that piece. Over here, this is part of the crit damage set still, Fracture, which is great. It's got attack bonus as a main stat and crit rate as a substat, but the other substats you look at and say, well, they're not that great. Got HP bonus, defense bonus, healing effect. None of that's really all that fantastic. But if I consider someone like a fighter, for example, Wrath, HP bonus isn't going to be bad for him, right? It's going to make him tankier. He's going to be blocking units, so HP bonus isn't bad. Defense bonus, while it's a pretty dookie substat, isn't completely useless. I mean, it'll still reduce some of the damage that he takes, not a bunch. Healing effect, if I awaken him 5 times, the healing effect of his 5th awaken will be boosted by this, so it's not a completely useless stat. Will I roll for it? Probably not. This is a piece of gear I'd likely take to 12. And if I took it to 12 and this crit rate rolled like, way up here, purple, maybe even gold, well then, yeah, I'd go ahead and take this up to 16 to make sure I have 60% attack bonus on this piece of gear, because it's going to be pretty solid for a while. Otherwise, this is one I'll take to 12 and kind of leave it there. But it's one of those pieces of gear that has potential. Could be good, and if this crit rate rolls like at 3% or like 10%, I'll probably just sell it off and make the money back, or at least some of the money back, but that's how I kind of look at it. It's an average piece of gear, but it could be pretty good. Right here, defense bonus, crit rate, HP bonus, HP, rage regen. Seems kind of weird, but for a tank, again, this isn't very bad. HP bonus is in the plus 12 slot, so I can see if this rolls 20+% or so. Defense bonus, again, not bad for a tank. Even though it's part of the wrong set for a tank, you don't really generally do crit damage. It's still not bad. It's not terrible. You have flat HP substat. Yes, it's in the 16 slot, but whatever. HP bonus and defense bonus are here. Rage regen to get your ult back a little bit faster. If this HP bonus rolls really high, this will be a piece of gear that could be pretty useful for a tank. And since, like I said, most of my gear is still legendary, it would be better. So that's why it's there. Not a crazy great piece of gear, but not a terrible piece of gear either. Stuff like this, you might look at it and say that looks garbage. Flat defense, flat HP, crit rate. Like what's going on in your head here? And simply, this is going to be one of those niche cases of gear for an HP-based damage dealer. So someone like Gluttony, who does damage based on his health, this is going to give him HP bonus as a main stat to boost his damage, flat HP as a substat to boost that damage, with crit rate to boost his chance to crit, obviously, and then you have it on the Fracture set to deal increased crit damage. So even though it doesn't look like a great piece of gear at first glance, if you can think about some of those heroes and how they function, sometimes this kind of stuff could be a little diamond in the rough. You know, you might roll purple or gold flat HP and really high crit rate, and all of a sudden this is a fantastic piece of gear for Gluttony, and maybe you end up using it. So that's why that one's getting saved. Probably won't go through every single piece. Things like this here, you might look at it and say, ugh, defense bonus with attack bonuses and stuff like that, that's weird, especially on a crit rate set. And here we go again, niche cases. There are heroes in the game that deal their damage based on their defense. I don't have any yet, but if I do get one, I'd like to have a piece of gear for him, and this is perfect for one, right? It's got a defense bonus, flat defense, crit rate, and attack speed. So for a defense-based damage dealer, this is a pretty solid piece of gear. In fact, it's probably, the only throwaway substat's attack bonus. That's actually a pretty good roll. If this was crit damage or something, it'd be an insanely good roll. So that's why that one's getting kept. Again, niche case is not going to go on like every hero I get, but when I'm looking for defense-based gear for my defense-based damage dealer, when I roll one, I've got one stashed back that I can upgrade and see if it's going to roll well. For a healing effect here, this is on the Asclepius ring. It's missing attack speed for like a healer, so it's not super great, but it has a couple of stats that I like for a healer. Obviously, attack bonus for an attack-based healer is good. It's part of the healing set. It has flat attack, which is also good for an attack-based healer. Healing effect, and all these are in the top 12. The defense bonus, more or less useless, and flat HP again is the last stat. If these roll really well, if I get like a purple roll on healing effect and attack, I'll probably take this one to 16, just to see if I can't roll 2,000 plus flat HP to put on my attack-based healer. That's not bad. That'll be nice. Make them a little tankier. And eventually you do need tanky healers for some of the content in the game because some things hit everything, like Guild Boss 2, Guild Boss 1 even. If your healers don't have enough health, they'll get one shot and then your whole run falls apart. So flat HP, not bad. That's why that one's getting kept. Some of these legendary pieces of gear, I probably shouldn't keep too much legendary gear that's not recommended just because I'm trying to replace it with mythic gear anyway. But in a case like this, I looked at it and I said, hey, it's part of the Fracture set. It's got a crit rate substat with an attack bonus main stat, and HP bonus is another substat. That could be pretty good for a fighter. If this crit rate rolls high, it's part of a good set. Maybe that's what I need to complete a set for him, and then we'll be looking pretty good. Over here, this one's not very great, but for a tank, again, not terrible. HP bonus, defense bonus, rage regen to get your ult back a little faster. It's on an offset, but it's one of those pieces of gear, like, I could see it being useful if things roll really well, and since rolling at the 12 is pretty cheap, why not? What about these other ones? Attack and crit damage, again, not bad. No, there's no crit rate on it, but crit damage is also a pretty decent substat, especially if you have a main stat piece of gear with crit rate on it. So attack bonus and crit damage with flat attack could also be pretty good. No, it's not a recommended piece of gear, but two of the substats are pretty solid, and the main stat is what I'm looking for. The only throwaway here is healing effect, so not bad. Even for an attack-based healer, honestly, you could run this piece of gear. In that case, crit damage is your throwaway, so if healing effect rolls really high on this piece of gear, I might consider throwing it on an attack-based healer instead of a damage dealer if the crit damage rolls low. And if the crit damage rolls high, obviously it'd be better for my attack heroes instead of my healing heroes. So stuff like that, that's how I kind of weigh my gear out. This one is not a great piece of gear. Attack bonus is the main stat, crit damage substat, but it's part of a set that gives me 15% crit rate, so the fact that it doesn't have crit rate on it itself isn't as big of a deal. Flat HP, my brain thinks of marksmen and mages. They're pretty low HP, so it's a pretty decent substat for them to make them a little tankier. Defense bonus being the throwaway here. So again, just stuff to think about. Not all the gear is going to be like best gear, but when you're only rolling 7 pieces of gear the game recommends, if I had sold everything else off in 100 runs, I would have very little to show for what I just got. And this early on in the game, I've essentially more than doubled the amount of gear that I've kept, and I've doubled my chances of getting something that rolls pretty solid. Like, this right here this is like a best in slot roll for an HP-based damage dealer. I don't have all these settings set up in my recommendations or whatever, because I don't want the game to throw tons and tons of recommended gear at me, and I have to sift out a bunch of it and manually sell it one at a time because it's garbage, actually. So I would rather look through all my gear personally and spot a little gem like this. Like for Gluttony, This is a crit rate piece of gear. It's got HP bonus to boost his damage, attack speed to make him attack faster, crit rate, crit damage, and flat HP. So for an HP-based damage dealer, this is like the best piece of gear you could ask for. This is #1, best in slot. So I'm pretty happy with that. But even though, like I said, the game doesn't recommend it to me, that's why I look at it. And you'll find little gems like that sometimes. It might roll like Dookie, and if it does, it does. I may use a Geary caster later on if I'm looking for an HP-based piece of gear. But there we go. That is 100 runs of Gear Raid 3 at stage 14. A fairly decent amount of gear to keep and go through. I'm not going to upgrade it today, because I don't need to upgrade it today. I'm going to wait and back through all of these things here. But we do have, wrong button, boop, right button. We do have the Brave Conquest, give me all that stuff. Ooh, look at all that, 3 huge stamina potions, refunded, 600 stamina back. I'll take it. But we do have the Tales the Smith coming up on Friday, so I'll probably upgrade this gear then and kind of double up on the rewards I'm getting. That's another little, just I guess a little bonus tip. If you know an event is coming to do something, don't blow all of your energy, or in this case all of your gold, outside of that. It's much better to go ahead and wait 2 days, upgrade all your gear, and then get extra bonus loot because you did. It's better to definitely wait a little while and then get this loot. I'm definitely going to try to snag out these auto fight chances, because that'll be nice for doing some more. I rarely actually finish out Brave Conquest. It's a tough one to do. But with Artifact Material Raid going on, I might actually be able to get up to like maybe these summon crystals here. We'll see. But there's today's video, guys. Knocked a little bit of campaign out. 100 pieces of gear. A little bit of how I think about my gear thing going on. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button to show your support. And I will see you guys in the next one.